Hello and welcome to Eating for a Healthy Life. Our segment today about lentil bolognese. As you all know by now, everything I make or any time I cook, I have to use what I'm cooking for multiple reasons. I am one of these people. I like everything I eat to have a purpose. Either it's a healthier, it's a multi-use, it's convenient. So these are one of the cooking or one of the things I chose today that you can have tons of purposes or multiple use or multiple recipes that you can actually use it. The bolognese, you can use it to add it to your rice. If you have rice, you add it to it with some salad, you have a great meal. If you can use it on your pasta, you can use it on vegetable. And yesterday I used it for taco. So you can't get any better than that. And the nice thing is, if you have a piece of French bread, you can just, make your bread crunchy or toasted and put some of it on it, and voila, you have a great snack, lunch, or whatever you would like. So let's go ahead and start, and I hope you enjoyed that recipe as much as I do. And please send me notes because it allows me to know what you're thinking. And if you want something that you would like me to cook it for you, please don't hesitate. Send me a note telling me or a comment, what would you like? So with this, let's go ahead with today. As you know now, I am a gadget person and I love my gadgets. So what I'm doing now, I am using my onion, my celery, and my carrots all here in my food processor. And I chose the little one because really I don't need more than that. And usually I don't like to mix all of them together. I like my onion to be separate. I like my carrots, but with this recipe, it doesn't matter because we care about the lentils, not really about the onion, carrots. So this is my sofrito, my mirepoix, as whatever you can call it, and that saves you a lot of time cooking, cutting, and it really cuts your cooking time dramatically. So I am going to use about a table or maybe a table and a half. And again, as you know, oil and salt is up to you, but just make sure when you are using extra virgin olive oil, don't go above 375 because you don't want burn that oil. So I'm using 1 tablespoon and I am putting all and as you know, I really like to salt my onion always as I go. Salt in layers so the taste will be complex, because when you salt at the end, I feel like you have something with salt. It's not as deep, as marinated as you usually should get. While this cooks a little bit, let's go ahead and look at here. This is our star here. I rinse my lentil and I soak it. I soak it for about an hour, half an hour, whatever time. But once I make the plant. I'm using lentil. I always soak it because it cuts down the cooking time dramatically. It goes from like 45 minutes to an hour to 20 minutes. So this is my soak. You can use cherry or grape tomatoes, or if you have leftover tomatoes, like I had leftover tomatoes from yesterday because I made a lot of taco and I use for salsa, so you can use it. And again, use what you have in your fridge. We are doing paste. This is my salt, this is my thyme, or you can use oregano. I love thyme. And I am also going to use mushroom. It gives it, again, a different layer and a different flavor. So while this is cooking, I am going to go ahead and start working, breaking my mushrooms. And again, when you have the mushrooms, don't even bother to cut the stems. Just put it with the stems. And everything needs to be small. So I am using the food processor to cut on my cooking pot. I think the stems are stuck, but you just get it out and perfect. Now I am adding my mushroom. Adding the mushrooms is optional. You don't need to do it, but I like adding an extra vegetable because, as you know, by now, all of you, I like to use between 40 to 50 different vegetables a week, and this adds to my list. And I love the taste of mushroom. It gives it a nice depth and a nice layer. Okay. I wish you can smell how delicious this is. Now I'm going to add a little bit of oil for my garlic. And again, we don't add the garlic until toward the end because you don't want a brown garlic. You want your garlic to just cook enough until you smell it. And now I smell it. I am going to go ahead, add my tomato paste. And tomato paste needs to be always cooked a little because it has a raw taste. When you cook it a little bit, you get the depth, you get that umami taste without the raw taste. Now it's all set, and I want you to see how it's all, look at this. This is now when I'm adding my wine. You can use white wine, you can use red wine, but I decided if I'm adding tomatoes, I might as well use red wine. And I'm going to let it cook, let the wine cook off. And if you don't drink wine, use vinegar. Use red wine vinegar, use white vinegar, use red, whatever you want, or don't use it at all. But again, it adds another layer. You keep adding as you're cooking, layer after layer after layer, until the star will come. Everybody will be ready. The crew is already ready, and that's our crew, and that's our star. So here I'm just cooking, and this is a dish, it doesn't take more than from start to finish, more than 10-15 minutes. I am going to add a little bit more of my salt. I am going to add some pepper. And as it burns off, I'm adding my tomatoes. Look how beautiful it looks. My oregano, my thyme, and this is the time, if you have oregano, please use it.
Please exchange contacts. Clean water comes out. Water supply.
Let's add the star. And remember, I rinsed it and cooked it. Rinse it and soaked it. I think I soaked it for about an hour and a half while I was prepping all my stuff. And I am adding water. This also, you can add a broth, but I feel like it's not necessary. And I am adding the rest of my salt, which is, it was total. And that's how it looks like. Okay. And this is a choice. If you feel like you want to use your broth, use it. I use water because there is a multiple of flavor here, so I would rather to use my broth for something else. So I will give it about 10-15 minutes, and I will see you in 10-15 minutes. Now it's boiling, so I am adding my hemp. And usually bolognese, you add milk to make it creamy. I'm adding my hemp. That gives you a great omega. It makes it so delicious, and it gives it, it's hard to explain, the textures becomes very different. So I add it, and the hemp will cook with the lentils, and it will be like this. And by the time the lentils are cooked, the hemp will give such a creamy texture. Welcome back. So I told you it will take 15 to 20 minutes. I lied to you. It took 8.5 to 10 minutes. And this here is how it looks. I am going to go ahead and take the thyme out, and look how it looks. You can make it thicker, you can make it thinner, it's up to you. I like mine thinner, and I can add more water or broth. It's whatever I have convenient. As I told you, I don't like broth with this because it really makes no difference. Water does it. And one of the things I want to emphasize here, I soaked lentils for about an hour while I was prepping everything. I want you to know, lentil doesn't need to be soaked overnight. beans should be soaked overnight to at least 8 hours a day, 8 hours. But lentils, you don't need to do that. You can also use your your pressure cook to cook it. I think it's so fast, it's so quickly. And here, if you have some rice, I'm going to take this out too. If you have some rice, put it and use it. If you don't, if you have some pasta, make some pasta and some salad, and you have a great high protein meal. And I want you to see how it feels. Or if you want to eat it this way, and a lot of the times I actually eat it myself this way because I just love it. And you can add walnuts. I didn't want to add walnuts to it now because it depends how I would like it. I used it yesterday to make tacos and it worked like a charm. So it's one of these things that you can make tons of recipes with it. Once you have it in your fridge, you can just use it. What do you want? Do you want a taco? Do you want pasta? Do you want a rice and lentil? Do you want it on a piece of baguette? What do you want? Whatever you want, go ahead and make it. And if you like it, please don't forget to subscribe. And again, thank you so much for your support. Bye. Do you want to try this? So good, so delicious. Bye.
All right.
I forgot to say, you can actually add balsamic vinegar. If you have a piece of bread, you can put this on the piece of bread with drizzle of balsamic vinegar. It will give you a completely different taste and texture. I am going to use my balsamic vinegar with a piece of bread. Since I am having lunch, I want it to be lunchy because, look.
Hold it.
This is good. And the hemp gave it such a creamy taste. The wine made it deep umami flavor. It's really hard to explain. So look with the balsamic.
That looks amazing. You got that good balsamic vinegar too.
That's for you.